Hi, welcome back to Friends and Company. You know, this week, probably if you've been watching TV any at all, you've probably seen a lot of Elvis movies and a lot of things on Elvis, and the reason for that is Monday, January 8th, was Elvis's birthday. He would have been 61 years old, or he may be 61 years old, we don't know. But anyway, he was, of course, the king of rock and roll, and a lot of people don't realize that he performed here in Paris, at the old Paris City Auditorium. And we have found somebody who actually got to meet and talk to Elvis in person. With us now is Miss Nina Ruth Craig Staveley.
Right.
Thank you so much for being with us, and I'm so excited. I can't wait to hear about the story. Tell me all about it.
Well, where do I start?
Okay. You heard about the concert.
We heard about the concert, and he was already getting popular at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And a bunch of the girls from
But this
Springville.
was really before he really
right,
made
it was before he made it. But
Now, what year was it?
It was in '55.
Mm-hmm.
And a bunch of girls from Springville School, and my sister and myself, all piled into our car and went to the concert. So we got our picture, which, should I show this now?
Yes.
Which I have right here. The autographed picture of Elvis, and then on the back is Scotty Moore and Bill Black's autograph.
And they were with the band.
Singers. I mean, these were the musicians with the band.
And they were with him for years,
Right,
even after
right.
that, right?
So after that, after we got our pictures, and the group was still in high gear. Our little group was still all keyed up, and we wasn't ready for the evening to end. So we followed Elvis and the two guys out of town, and they headed out towards Memphis at 79. We got them flagged down. So during this process of talking to them, they had a jug of apple cider with them, which we helped them to drink, and then Elvis got in our car, in the back seat of our car, with me and about 4 more girls. We were all piled all over him and sitting in his lap.
What a story.
You know, and everybody kissed him. So the other 2 boys then brought their van on out to this little cafe, and it was, I think, on Washington Street. I'm not sure about that. But it was a little cafe, and we went out there and went in and said, "Do you know who this is?" to the waitress, and she had never heard of him. So, and he was all, you know, he was the showman, so he was all geared up and doing his thing. And he said, "Well, we'll just play some records." So he put some records on the jukebox, and we sat there and drank milkshakes and had hamburgers, and it was really had a milkshake with Elvis, and it was really neat. It was great.
Wow, what a story.
Right.
That's great.
So,
well, what was your opinions and your thoughts about him at that point? Did you think that he would ever make it, or what did you think?
I probably didn't think, you know, but he was very confident. He was very much a star.
At that time? You were a young girl and you thought he's cute.
And he was loving all the attention. You know, the girls were being silly about him and flocking around him. And he was very much the center of attention at that time. And he was loving every minute of it.
He liked it.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Do you remember how he was dressed that night?
I can't remember, but I think it was the baggy pants and just the sports shirt and sport jacket.
He didn't have the white suit with the
no.
That was way before all that. Yeah. All right. Well, what about his car? Do you remember what kind of car he had?
I can't remember, but I'm sure it was a van because he would have had the instruments.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, he had lots of
and they had those with him.
Well, what about the songs he sang that night? Do you remember that? Because that was really before all of his major hits.
Right. It may have been Blue Moon of Kentucky. Was there a Milk Cow Boogie? I believe Milk Cow Boogie and That's All Right, Mama.
That was the first one he recorded, right?
These were the beginning, you know, songs.
Okay. Well, what's your opinion of, is he still alive or is he dead? What do you think?
As far as physical, he's very much dead.
Think so? Okay, you heard it here. This is the gal that knows. But she kissed him.
I think that he will live on as a legend, you know, and so I think that he was really a superstar.
Yeah, and probably getting to be more of a superstar all the time, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, also, in addition to Elvis playing at the City Auditorium, there were other famous people that played there that a lot of people may not be aware of or may have forgotten about. There was Jerry Lee Lewis who played there, and I understand he kind of made a mess of the piano out there. So anyway, that happened somewhere in the 1950s. He was another pioneer of rock and roll, and also there was a lot of wrestling matches there in the 1960s, and some of the wrestlers had performed in places like Madison Square Garden in New York City. So we've had quite a few really pretty famous people and people that have been out and about, and so the City Auditorium has a lot of history to it.
It does. It does.
Well, we appreciate you coming.
Well, I've enjoyed coming. My grandchildren and my kids, they are really think that it is so neat that grandmother kissed Elvis.
Oh yeah, I bet they love it.
They love it. They sure do.
Hear the story of it, don't they? Why don't you hold that picture up for us one more time and let's get a good shot of it.
Getting a bit old, and the signature is beginning to fade a little, but it's still on here.
And look how young he looked there. That is really something.
And then the signature of the other two on the back of it. So.
Okay. Well, thank you for being with us again.
Well, thank you.
And thank you for staying with us. And also, we'd like to say a great big thank you to Dale Blythe, who is, of course, Paris's biggest Elvis fan. Of course, everybody knows that. All of this stuff that we've got, the Elvis paraphernalia on the table in front of us and the big poster behind us and everything, all that belongs to Dale. So we'd like to thank him for the use of that. And you stay with us. We've got more Friends and Company coming up right after this.